Hello and welcome to LSR Weekly View. Growth in the Eurozone in Q2 has been a tad disappointing. Or has it? Let's find out. So, the preliminary GDP estimates suggest that real GDP in the Eurozone rose by 0.3% in Q2 over Q1, which is roughly half the growth that the region enjoyed in Q1. That might be sort of concerning, but Q1 GDP growth numbers were unusually strong at 2.2% rate because of special factors such as an unusually mild winter and an early Easter, amongst other factors. So that meant that some growth was stolen from Q2, and that, in other words, there would be a sort of payback in Q2 growth numbers. On an average, if we average out Q1 and Q2, growth is at 1.7% rate, which is strong by any standards. To put it in perspective, the Eurozone's trend growth is slightly below 1%. Spain at an average pace of growth of 3% in H1 continues to be one of the fastest growing economies in the region, followed by Germany at 2.3%, followed by France at 1.3%, and then Italy, which is a laggard, at 0.6%, although 0.6% growth rate is particularly strong by Italian standards. Where do we go from here? We expect the Eurozone recovery to continue. We expect 1.5% growth rate over the next 12 months. What will be the key drivers? Monetary conditions in the region are particularly easy, and the ECB policy support continues in full steam. Domestic demand, private consumption in particular, will be the main growth driver, but also the sharp undervaluation of the euro since mid-2014 means that there will continue to be support from net external demand. But the windfall from lower oil prices will start to wane, and that means that nominal wage growth should rise to give real disposable income growth some support, and that's where the capex plans come into play. The worry is that the rising political uncertainty in the Eurozone might weigh on capex plans. We have Italy heading into a referendum on constitutional reforms in November, and that's worrying particularly because of the state of the banking sector in Italy. Then we have the French presidential elections in April and May next year, followed by German federal elections in August or probably later. So there are a lot of political risks on the horizon, but despite these risks, we believe that the Eurozone recovery will continue at a healthy pace, at least over the next 12 months. Thank you, and see you next week.